oh, dude, that's gasoline. I mean, it just cracks me up. It's like, it cracks me up.
I'm starting to think we're being set up for a spin-off, and it's going to be a wild one. Picture this: Kody and Robyn on a mission to find Kody a new wife. Hear me out, Robyn has been subtly nudging him all season, repeatedly asking if he's really done with polygamy. And let's not forget, she's basically pushing him to keep trying, even in the preview for next episode. This isn't over. Meanwhile, the kids, they're slowly drifting away from the show, except Robyn's kids, of course. Even the moms seem to be wrapping things up and finding new ways to make money on their own. I'm betting season 20 is going to be the grand finale, but don't worry. Robyn and Kody will keep that TLC paycheck rolling in with a spin-off where Kody's on the hunt for a new wife. All thanks to Robyn's brilliant idea to keep the cameras and cash coming. Let's be real. For years, Kody's done whatever it takes to keep his ego and libido fed. But now that he's old and can't juggle multiple wives anymore, suddenly, poof, monogamy is the answer. You really think his younger self would have been okay with that? Back then, he'd be using the whole getting into heaven excuse to stack up wives if anyone dared to dump him. But now, he's financially set after years of milking TLC and playing the polygamy card. He's not about to add more wives, not because he's had a revelation, but because he physically can't handle it. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Why doesn't Robyn feel any guilt? Honestly, I don't get it. If my husband had become estranged from all his children because he put me and my kids above them, while also draining the family's funds that were meant for everyone else, I'd be disgusted by him. I'd be drowning in guilt. So why doesn't she feel any of that? Oh, wait, because she got exactly what she wanted. Why feel guilty about that? Robyn's a classic narcissist with a side of victim complex. She genuinely believes she was wronged by everyone, that she and her kids were never accepted, and that everything was always fair between the wives. Meanwhile, Kody's ego is about as fragile as they come, and he needs someone who makes him feel like the alpha male. Once they moved to Vegas, the original 3 wives were all thrilled to have their own space, away from the cramped chaos of living on top of each other. But Robyn, who'd never had a nice house before, saw an opportunity to stroke Kody's ego and manipulate him like a pro. Every time Robyn talks about joining the family, it's always about what she wanted for her kids. And guess what? She got it. Everything was supposed to revolve around her children. Everyone else, they were just collateral damage. So of course, there's no guilt. She's gotten exactly what she envisioned. If she felt zero guilt for what she did to her ex-husband, the father of her kids, lying and continuing her manipulations, why on earth would she feel guilty about these women, who she clearly thinks are beneath her? Robyn's a greedy, self-serving, disgusting individual, and honestly, she's probably worse than Kody. But here's the kicker. Eventually, Kody's gonna wake up. The separation between him and his biological kids is going to hit a breaking point. And when it does, guess who he'll blame? Robyn. It's only a matter of time before he turns on her. And when he does, she'll be left holding the bag. So who's really got the scorched earth tea that could burn the whole family down? You know, the secrets we haven't heard yet. The kind of stuff that would make us all collectively gasp and say, wait, that really happened? I'm gonna kick this off with a 3-way tie: Dayton, Logan, and Gabe. Oh, and let's throw Leon in there for good measure. Now, Christine's kids, bless them, love to air out their laundry for the public. If there was anything major left to spill, trust me, they would have spilled it by now. Except maybe Aspen. She's the diplomatic one, but even she might have a thing or two she's holding back. Still, considering how much Christine and her kids have already dropped, I doubt it'd be anything that shocking. But Leon, Leon definitely knows more. He knows all the dirty details about the catfish drama and probably has a front row seat to decades of Kody and Miri's train wreck of a relationship. The problem is, Miri's been spilling enough lately that Leon's info would probably be less of a bombshell and more of a "yeah, we already knew that" moment. But hey, I'm still curious. Now Dayton, this kid has been suspiciously quiet for years. That alone makes me think he knows some things that could totally upend the family. He's seen what's been going on in the Shira Chateau. No, he doesn't live with his bio dad. That internet rumor is just pure telephone game nonsense. He probably remembers Robyn's first marriage better than anyone. I'd also love to hear his take on the legal adoption mess and the Flagstaff move. The kid's been around and he knows. Then there's Gabe and Logan. These two are thinkers, and they were both closer to Kody at different points in time. Logan was basically Kody's right-hand man in the early years, probably fixing things around the house while Kody basked in his own glory. Gabe was the youngest for a while, so he got the privilege of going on business trips with Kody, because who doesn't want a kid tagging along for work? Logan's been quiet for ages, so if he started speaking, I'd bet it'd be for a really good reason. And Gabe? He's had the front row seat to everything falling apart. He's got stories. Logan, though, oh Logan, he's the oldest, and he basically had to act like an adult from day one. He's got more tea than a British royal wedding, and it's telling that, after leaving for college, he basically cut ties with Kody. No posts with Kody and Robyn, no nothing. I mean, come on, that's not a coincidence. Let's not forget Hunter, either. The Vegas move? That was a nightmare for him. I'm pretty sure he was the loudest about not wanting more kids added to the family when they could barely afford the ones they'd already had. This kid's got feelings, and I have a feeling he's just waiting for the right moment to drop the bomb. Finally, back to Logan. He's got the most credibility out of the whole family. Seriously, the kid was more of an adult than the actual adults on the show. Whatever Logan says, it's been thought through, and it's probably as close to the objective truth as we'll ever get. So who's ready for the real tea to be spilled? Kody somehow managed to turn the baptism request into a full-blown Kody show, and honestly, I'm not even surprised anymore. Picture this. Blah blah, here's a whole monologue about my relationship with God, a few tears, and oh wait, back to you, ha ha, classic Kody, right? And it looks like Robyn's got her kids trained in the art of manipulation. She knows exactly how to get Kody to step in, by making sure he feels like he's missing out on something, so he can swoop in and make it all about him. Genius, really. But seriously, why is Kody even involved in this? He doesn't have any special qualifications. If anyone should be performing the baptism, why not her mom? At least she might have a reason to be there. We should have seen this coming. After reading about everyone else doing a rewatch, I went ahead and spent $8.99 on Discovery Plus to start from the beginning. Honestly, it's painfully obvious from the get-go how this whole thing was going to play out. Christine saw Robyn for what she was immediately, and Kody's face? Priceless. I'm only on episode 2 of the first season, but hindsight really is 20/20. The way he grins like the cat who got the cream whenever he talks to or about Robyn, it's nauseating. The guy drives 5 hours to see her, drags along teenagers to babysit the younger kids, just so he can have his special moments with her in that white car. It's all just so gross. I've rewatched it more times than I cared to admit. And sometimes I skip over season 1 entirely because it's just full of lies. Both Kody and Robyn are spewing nonsense. The only one calling them out? Christine. Janelle's still figuring herself out, and Mary? She's just desperately trying to get Robyn to be her BFF, so maybe Kody will like her again. Rewatching it, you can see how Christine tries so hard to befriend Robyn, while Kody's words, every time he criticizes Christine, are a direct hit from Robyn. She's the one stabbing Christine, Mary, and Janelle in the back. Robyn treats her sister wives like garbage. She doesn't want them to look after her kids, and Christine isn't shy about pointing that out. Then, Robyn pushes this business idea, where everyone has to sell plus-size stuff, and she pressures Janelle into it. Honestly, I felt secondhand embarrassment for Janelle. Christine was the only one who was real about her feelings. She made genuine efforts to welcome Robyn, always going out of her way for her. But when Kody criticizes Christine for being a bad sister wife, he's really talking about Robyn. She's the one being a terrible sister wife, not Christine. It's like night and day with Christine from season 1 to season 3. In the beginning, she was authentic, but by season 2, she starts to lose that spark, and by season 3, it's like she switched to keep sweet mode. Her eyes just go dead. It's eerie. You don't see that fire come back until the coronavirus season. And then there's Mary in season 1. She was still speaking her mind, but by later seasons, she's just a shell of herself. She sits there, dead-eyed, looking around during interviews, and just parrots whatever Kody and Robyn say without ever sharing her own opinion first. It's all just so predictable and sad. Robyn, seriously. She sounds like she's auditioning for the role of most clueless person ever with her whole "I just don't understand" act. I've been rewatching season 18 again, and it's painful. Robyn is crying in every episode, dramatically asking, "I just don't understand." Like, what exactly don't you get? Is she blind? What is there to not understand? It's honestly baffling. And don't even get me started on how her kids also seem to be struggling with basic dynamics. How does that happen? And then there's her complete shock when it comes to the intimate dynamics between Kody and the other wives. She's genuinely stunned, asking, "Did I miss something? I don't understand." Like, girl, are you serious? It's honestly making me question her cognitive abilities. But here's the thing, she knows exactly what's going on. She's not as clueless as she pretends to be. She just thinks everyone around her is dumb and is straight up gaslighting us. She monopolized all of Kody's time, which of course is going to create problems in his other relationships, on top of the fact that he's just being a jerk. She knows this. If she didn't, she'd have kicked him out and told him to go spend time with his other wives, wouldn't she? So let's not pretend here. Kody's white sports car, the ultimate family flex. Who could forget the moment Kody, the father of 18 children, rolled around in a bright white sports car that screamed, "I'm living my best life," without any regard for family needs? This was the red flag moment that told us all we needed to know about his priorities. A man who could have been driving a minivan, but nope, he was too busy living out his midlife crisis in a shiny car, alone. Classic. And the Vegas floor plans. A dream built on unrealistic expectations. The wives finally got their dream homes, but not without a whole lot of passive-aggressive tension in the air. The grand moment when they chose their floor plans for the new homes in Vegas was like watching children fight over a toy they'll never get. Let's just say, when they eventually saw the finished homes, it was clear the dream didn't quite match up with reality. And we all know Kody wasn't helping anyone build a thing. Also, the commitment ceremony photo shoot, just for the gram. Ah, yes, the iconic commitment ceremony photo shoot. Kody and his wives managed to make a deeply personal event look like an awkward high school yearbook shoot. The moment they all wore matching colors and posed in front of a camera was, in a word, ridiculous. Let's be real, they were all just waiting for that perfect photo to say, "See, we're a happy, functional family, not a mess of tangled emotions and unresolved issues." And Coyote Pass ownership chaos. Who actually owns what? Can you imagine trying to make sense of this real estate disaster? The wives, in their infinite wisdom, decided to buy a chunk of land they were supposed to all own together, except that each wife's portion of Coyote Pass was a mess of unclear boundaries and confusing agreements. A screenshot of the ownership plots is the perfect visual representation of chaos and unfairness. Basically, what happens when you try to build a family on sand. And also Kody's inability to manage anything. Also Robyn's wedding to Kody, Meri's required attendance. The ultimate what the heck moment. Let's dive into the insanity that was Kody and Robyn's insistence on Meri being present for their marriage ceremony. Remember, Meri had already legally divorced Kody so that he could legally adopt Robyn's kids. So when they decided to finally tie the knot, they demanded Meri show up, despite her openly expressing how painful and unnecessary this whole thing felt. Not only was this manipulative, but it was an emotional gut punch, because nothing says family like forcing someone to relive their divorce trauma for the sake of your own ego. I really like Christine, and honestly, I'm thrilled for the life she's built for herself. I've been rewatching the seasons, and I'm curious what you all think. Do you think Christine would have taken the favorite wife role if it had been offered to her, like Robyn's? Because in the early seasons, it seemed like Christine was constantly vying for Kody's attention. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she would have thrown her sister wives under the bus for financial gain like Robyn did, but I definitely think Christine would have soaked up the love, affection, and one-on-one time that Robyn did. The real difference between Christine and Robyn is this. Christine would have actually taken care of all the kids, treating them like her own. Robyn, not so much. But for Robyn, being the favorite wasn't enough. She had to stir the pot and create drama to divide the wives and their kids. Robyn's toxic, no question about it, and I don't see Christine acting that way. Christine's even embraced David's kids, which, let's be real, I can't see Robyn ever doing. All the wives tried, at one point or another, to be the chosen one by stepping over each other for more attention from Kody. The difference? The original wives seemed to care more about Kody spending time with the kids, all the kids, than just hoarding him for themselves. They were willing to take a step back if it meant Kody was with a child. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. And honestly, I don't think Christine ever really enjoyed her time with Kody. The guy barely listens to her, as we saw when the therapist asked them to build something together. He's condescending and downright cruel to her. Remember that Christmas where Kody bought Christine a bunch of gifts, but nothing for Meri. That probably stung Christine as much as it did Meri, if not more. And unlike Robyn, Christine actually has a sense of fairness. That little stunt with the gifts, I think it was meant to drive a wedge between them. How dare Christine try to make peace with the other wives? Robyn still claims everything was perfectly balanced, though. Sure, Robyn. Sure. Honestly, I was shocked when Leon Brown came out as transgender. Like, I really didn't see it coming. I respect their decision, of course, but I had them pegged as the least likely person to do something like that. After all, they were always the loudest about wanting to be a sister wife. It's like, really? That was your thing? Now, I'm rewatching the show. Just hit season 6, so I'm behind, and it's kind of hilarious to look back on some of these moments and realize how clueless I was. Like when they announced Leon was a boy when they were born, and then it turned out it was just the umbilical cord. Or how Meri told Robyn she'd always wanted a boy, and maybe Solomon was sent to fill the void. Looking back, it's like, oh wow, how could we have missed that? Am I the only one who was totally blindsided by this, or did anyone else see it coming? Because sometimes, the people who are the loudest about certain beliefs or identities are the ones doubting them the most. But now that I think about it, Leon's journey makes a lot of sense. Of course they wanted to be a sister wife. It's like a loophole. They never really liked men, so having a part-time husband probably sounded a lot less scary and a lot more appealing. It fit their religious beliefs, and it would mean having a bunch of close relationships with women. Honestly, there are a lot of things about that life that would appeal to a queer, closeted, or non-binary person. I can relate in a way. Growing up in a Christian family, I wanted to be a nun at one point. No need to be in a relationship with a man, just surrounded by other women. Sounds familiar, right? I get why a young person, especially someone struggling with their identity, would gravitate toward ideas like that. And once you're exposed to queer culture, you start realizing how fluid identity and gender can be. It's a journey a lot of queer people, including Leon, have taken. There's also this pattern I've noticed. The kid who really conforms in high school, the one who's always trying to be perfect, is often the one secretly wrestling with the most doubt. They're putting on this big performance because they know if they show their true selves, they'll be cast out. It's a defense mechanism against feeling deeply insecure. And don't get me wrong, I know the family played nice on camera, but we all know the truth about the fundy community they were in. The no LGBT rule was very much in effect. Look at Maddie, for example. She was the one who could push buttons and rebel. But that's because she was secure in her identity. Her deeply religious, conservative self was exactly what her parents expected. So she got to rebel without fear of being rejected. But I can't help but think about some of the things Leon said back then. Like, I'm the only one of my siblings who hasn't kissed someone, or the only time I've been alone with a boy, it was an accident. I wonder if Leon laughs at those comments now, because honestly, wow. Leon has said that looking back, they realized they were doubling down on their faith because they were afraid of that part of themselves. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. It's probably something a lot of people in Leon's situation can relate to. The Kool-Aid they were all drinking in Season 7, Episode 4, good lord. They literally threw a party to thank Kody for being so amazing and perfect. Like, they were all sipping that Kool-Aid with gusto, fully committed to this ridiculous display of praise. Each wife dressed up as a queen from a deck of cards, hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades. I can't even. They must have drained their wallets at Party City on a mountain of disposable junk. And don't even get me started on the pathetic pre-packaged snacks and food they served. All of this, of course, to worship King Kody for leading them to Vegas. What a tasteful episode, huh? Oh, and if you're struggling to make ends meet, kids missing their dad, or just hoping for some extra money to put food on the table, here's the trick. Just suck up to the head of your family. That's right. If you flatter him enough, you'll totally get your fair share of the household budget next week. What a miracle. Seriously though, this whole thing felt like 4 women scrambling to cater to a grown man-child. If they ever dared to show any frustration with him or asked for a little more, he could just pack up and retreat to a different, more welcoming family. It's like he wasn't even a real part of the family, just a guest star on his own show. And wasn't that the Vegas-themed party where they actually gave him a crown? A crown, but here's what really grinds my gears. This family is constantly moaning about money problems, but they somehow manage to throw lavish, expensive parties every other week. Like seriously, you're broke 1 minute, but next thing you know, you're throwing a $1 million commitment ceremony and endless random gatherings. Pick a lane, people. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.